We're here today to explain the process of what we are spraying and the product that we're spraying today. I do use pure water-based, but on this project I'm not. There's a couple of reasons why. One of the main reasons is on this mahogany, I love the way the chemical will bring out the color. We're using Polarium 2K from Campbell's. It's a fantastic product. Yes, it stinks like hell, but it's not like conversion varnish or lacquer. And you might say, well, what's the difference? There's totally two different products using two different chemicals. 2K urethane related more to clear coat on cars. It's huge in Europe, and all the top cabinet manufacturers love using this. And one of the main reasons is the conversion varnish or lacquer, and that's also hence California, is they give off gases in the homes. And you might say, well, that would only last a couple of weeks. They give it off for years, because like a lot of the lacquers, and when they're using their catalysts and their activators, they're using an acid that creates a chemical reaction, and that reaction never stops. Why do manufacturers love it? Because it dries fast. Is it better for the consumer? No. You know, hands down, this is maybe $20 a gallon more, maybe 15, if that. You know, I could probably look for bigger quantities and get it a lot cheaper. It's more elastic, everything else. I expect this to last like 20, 30 years to go there. The only drawback when this goes in place, they'll have to tape it and spray it in place, say 15, 20 years from now, and build it up and not let it totally wear down to the wood, because yes, it will be expensive to sand something like this down. With that said, it comes with an activator. It's 5-to-1. So basically, if I use 100 ounces, which is easy, and I just put 20 ounces of this and mix it up. The other thing that's great with it, I'm going to come around here, and we have a dye that we can use too. I'm not to really punch out the color. In this case, I put a little bit of a dye. I'm going to put like a capful on about one cup of it, and it just really brought out the mahogany. I didn't use any stain whatsoever on this, and when I sprayed that, I went very lightly on the maple, and I think it came out nice with the maple. I don't have that white, stark, clear coat, you know, look. So these were the products I used. I know they're industrial, maybe a little beyond the homeowner. Like I wouldn't, if you're in the garage or something, maybe I wouldn't recommend it. But there's other ways of getting around it. You can always find a car shop or anything else to see, you know, knock around, see if you can rent one on the weekend. You can prep it. There's other things you could do to seal it beforehand. You could use shellac and just sand it up. There's a lot of different ways. When I spray this piece, I got an air-assisted airless over here. I don't want to, do I hand out the technology? I use CAA technology. The only reason was because they work well with Campbell. For whatever reason, all their products go fantastic together. So when I come here and spray, I try to stay about 12 inches. I'll run my pressure for my fluid at about 20 pounds, which is fluid right here, and I might turn up to about 25 on this one. So I'll come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put a 2x4, I'll go a little higher, I'll make sure I'm not in the dirt when I spray here. Then I'll come up here. So crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. All right, so that would be how I would start to coat it. Now I come over here, see, I have my wood here, it's quite thick, so I'm going to come here in my corners very fast, because I don't want this thing to drip, and I'll hit all the panels. Then I'll come along to the top of my molding here, and also my little edge here. Then I'll come along and I'll spray, spray, spray. Notice the way, like I'm not, sometimes you almost need footwork like a boxer. So you just kind of walk here, keep it down, and I go backwards a little lower, and you see I'm trying to stay nice and steady. The worst thing you can do is flip your wrist. Or all right. So as I said, when I'm saying about 10 to 12 inches here. I don't really have a tape with me, but it's more of a feel sometimes when you go like on top. When I go here, I'll probably get this 3 coats, 1, 2, 3 in a row, and I'm gonna let it flow out. That's what I love about the Polaria. You can really clear coat, get everything nice and wet, and what's great with that, you end up with no fumes or anything else like that. So it really is that house product. I do use regular water-based clear coat that won't handle the chemicals, but this is a bar, and there is going to be alcohol involved and things like that. So this is also a good thing for the homeowner too, to start asking hard questions. What's going in my home? Everybody says lacquer this. I can get lacquer 5 gallons for $80. Would I put it on any of my woodwork? No. Probably people have seen knocked off furniture and it wears like within literally weeks. That's only because they got bare minimum clear coat. On this, I'll put 5 or 6. They said one of my pamphlets, they said, okay, you can get away with 2 coats. I would never deliver anything with 2 coats. I know it's going to wear out over time. And with this, what's huge advantage over lacquer or anything else, lacquer a lot of times can only go 4 mils. I know I'm using metric and everything else for American friends. But with the 4 mils, it's always the biggest fear when you're spraying or you're cabinet, like, oh God, am I putting too much? I'm putting too much. This stuff, apparently 8 mils, or you can go as much as you can spray in between coats, at a time. You don't have that worry with the Polaria. And then here, when I have this door, when you lay things flat, it's a hell of a lot easier to spray. I wouldn't be against somebody, like something like this, spray outside. If you got big enough land and your neighbors don't mind, you work some more. But this I would just spray here in my corners. I like to get them wet first. Because when you spray down like that, there's nothing really getting in these corners. And these corners they can be most prone. The other side, which will be exterior, will be using Polaria, but it's rated exterior. Polaria has the same product from Campbell that has the exterior. I'm using the interior for this side in, and then I might give it one coat of exterior. That's about it. The next video I'll show you in real time when I'm spraying. I'm dressed to the way I'm going to spray. I do have a suit. A lot of times I don't wear them for small stuff like this because it really, you sweat. If you ever put one of those on, it's like putting on a plastic bag. So I do have a good selection of clothes. All right, thank you for your time. Now I'm gonna wait about 20 minutes and then I'm gonna go in there and charge again. That's one of the advantages with the two-part 2K urethane. As soon as it gets a little tacky, what will happen is if I go for another coat, it'll just grip right on and less likely to slide. It's very difficult vertical like that spraying because if you're not careful, it could slide. If you saw me in there change my pressure, I went at 30 pounds on the top to kind of level it, get a really nice coat. Then I turned it down to 20, in vertical, just to have less, that's the material part, have less coming out. I left the air alone. The air stayed the same. So now I'm just gonna give it 20 minutes. And I'm gonna go in there and charge again. It just saves me the hassle of letting that dry, then 320 and putting another coat and everything else. I got it built up beautifully. All right, so we'll go back in there and we'll wait our 20 minutes. All right. Next day, we came back, and here's the result. You might not see a big difference on the camera from before, because it was sanded down in the way the camera looks. On top, we got, I would say mahogany is very porous. I didn't use grain filler on it. I'm trying to find clear grain filler so it's more natural. I've used that once before, but I'm a little apprehensive about it, especially grain filler with a color or tint in there. I think you're going to kill a mahogany, especially the mahogany ages. This piece I saved, it's like almost 14 inches. It was, it's all one piece, and I was able to do the 45 here and join it. I almost had it exactly, but I was missing this much, so I had to flip it around the opposite side. So I lost a bit on the grain here, but that's okay. I don't think anybody's going to notice that. When I showed to be sprayed, it was already built up with about 4 coats. I already had a couple of sealers, like I didn't show that with the polarium. It's always recommended with exotic woods to use the polarium. The only thing I would do different with the polarium is I used the satin, is I would use the sealers, thin it out, give 2 quick coats to really get into the wood and soak in. They recommend 10%, they're saying it comes right out, don't thin it out. But that's just coming from working with this product now. I've gotten a lot of gallons under my belt now, so I know it a little better. The other thing what I would do is use high gloss right away, and then on the final coat use satin. The only thing with the satin, what I don't like about it, it just gets a little more hazy, a little more dull. You probably get a little crystal clear on the wood. Other than that, we're very happy with that. I'm also showing here a urethane that I've used, pure water-based. This is homeowners can use it. Believe it or not, you put this on with a foam roller. I'm not making up, I'm vertical. If you're nice and careful, this stuff will work easy. We sprayed a lot of this before. I'll spray it. If somebody has kids, or I don't feel comfortable, or I won't spray a chemical product unless I let somebody know, and especially in small confined areas. I don't have that right to say, okay, I'm going to bring chemicals into your home. If they say, well, no problem, I haven't heard anything, health issues or whatever, but that'll be their discretion. So that's the big thing that we did. When I first opened the shop, I didn't have the pump. This pump, they go 14. I'm not going to get too technical with it. It's CA technology. There's others. It's for fine spray. These ones are about, yes, they're expensive, about 2,000 American, probably about 4,000 Canadian, the way things are going. And you can see, just material alone with no air is fantastic. Why do I love it? It saves my body. Like we saw on the video there was no overspray that was coming out. Very little. Like you can see here, this piece I had to run like this on the booth. I couldn't fit it on the other side and get in here and have enough room to spray it. So it was a big challenge there. The other one that we used for the water-based, we used a plain pot. And we used it for years. And I haven't hooked it up in a long time, just sitting in that corner. I got these guns from Spray Gun World. They're out of business. I tried to find them. But they have great setups for like $400. They really did the job. What I loved about them vertically, with these guns, you can tint a little more. You can actually go in a circle like 6 times. I've done it before, without runs. With this, no way, you're gonna run. Like you saw in the video when I went back, I was moving my hand. I was really trying to get that wet coat. So this is more of an inexpensive option. I think those little turbine things or whatever, I think they're toys. I think you're just wasting your money, and I've used them, they clog up, they're not that. With the 5-gallon pump, what's great about it, you get the air in, and sometimes it's hard to get the fluid out. So you can add a little more pressure on your fluid, which is really really customized. They take a little practice. The other ones are top feed guns. For a lot of production, you can even see this one. I used it. I bought it a while ago, and you can see like it's all plastic. It's really hard to clean, like to really get. It's clean inside, on the outside. And these ones tend to clog up when you're going with a piece like this. You lose your fluid, so you don't have the versatility of these type of guns. So, whatever you choose, you could start off small as opposed to going up to the pump and then say, okay, well, the pump's my go-to when, I'm going to do a lot of products. The other option, what I said before, was going to an auto body place after hours if you want to spray with chemicals. Also, too, look up for custom woodworking shops like this, guys that are set up. They would be probably more than happy. You put your heart and soul into building a piece that they would spray it. So there's a lot of little different options. As you can see here, this is part of our unit that we sprayed and we did at the same time. And everything this would be the mantle coming on. And you just see how gorgeous and how flat. I basically almost have zero dust. I would say about 98%, And there's a lot of goodies here that we're going to get into later. These will be the doors. I used solid mahogany, I used the maple. I'm hoping that they're not going to cut. They'll be good for the drawers. I'll have no problem there. But the doors might be a little bit of an issue. I might put a little stabilizer in the back. They've been good for the last couple of months. And I'm thinking about putting a little rod that goes in the back and buy it. That'll keep it, it might tend to cut over time. And thank you for your time.